welcome to West Country Wandering. Today we're back in the delightful village of Elmley Castle in Worcestershire. We're back here for a late autumnal walk on the Cotswold Hills. In fact, we're going to Bredon Hill. Now, back in the summer when I was doing the Cotswold Way, I finished at, I think it was Broadway, and we're about a few miles from Broadway here, and we're kind of a little bit south of the town of Pershore, which will be coming up on West Country Wandering itself later in the new year. But yeah, we're here on a walk today to do a walk up onto Bredon Hill, and it's say it's a second visit here. And when I did that vlog, I said that I'd be back again to look for the castle at Elmley Castle, and that's exactly what we're going to be doing today. There's some debate whether Elmley Castle itself is in the Cotswolds or not. I'll let you decide that. It's certainly very pretty wherever it is. It's certainly in the Worcestershire, but some villages consider themselves to be in and out. Actually, I came through a couple of villages earlier on, and one I think was called Overbury. I can't remember the name of the other one, and they were definitely Cotswold villages, very, very pretty. Unfortunately, the road that went from that direction to the slopes of Bredon Hill is currently closed, so I had to do a bit of a diversion. I had to double back myself and kind of got a bit lost around a giant housing estate on the outskirts of Tewkesbury. But enough of that. I'm here, I'm glad to be here, so it's great to be back here. I love this village. It's got tremendous atmosphere, very, very rustic. Now, I don't know what remains we're going to find on Bredon Hill of the castle today. I've never been up Bredon Hill before. If you are doing this walk, just to note that the footpath commences in the village and you have to make your way towards the church, but don't make the mistake I did and follow the footpath sign, because that takes you behind the church and leaves you to a dead end. As you're looking towards the churchyard, turn left, and it's not marked, and you have to walk around by a lake, which I've just inserted a shot of that now. It's one of the many lakes here at Elmley Castle, and if you watch my Elmley Castle and I'll drop a link in at the end for that in case you missed it, you'll see that the village is surrounded by lakes, probably to do with the estate. We've got another deer park here, the inevitable deer park, which we keep coming across in this part of the world in the Cotswolds, don't we? But yeah, I've never actually been up Bredon Hill before. And although it is part of the Cotswolds, it's probably one of the lesser known parts of the Cotswolds. It doesn't get explored that much. It's certainly not one of the honeypots, the likes of Broadway, which is just a few miles over the hill. It's an outlier as well. That's the other thing to mention about it. And as you saw on the Cotswold Way, the term hills is a bit misleading, because it is just the one scarp you have with the Cotswolds. You go up that scarp and everything above that is a flat plain, whereas here this is an outlier, so it's its own self-contained hill, if you like. It's beautiful. Just behind me, just get a shot of those trees there. It's looking absolutely fantastic, even on a very dull late November day. It's quite chilly today, so hence the old gloves. It's about 7 degrees. I've got my hat in case I get a bit colder as we climb towards the summit, so that might be making an appearance here on West Country Wanderers. I think the last time my hat was on camera when I was doing the Beach Explore Street, which I think was at the end of February, earlier part of this year. Now, I haven't got my tripod with me today. The reason for that is not that I forgot it, is that I don't have much time today in terms of light. It's already 1 o'clock in the afternoon, so we've only got some 3 hours to do that, so I need to walk quite quickly. And I know the tripod, although you do get the better, more stable shots, it does slow you down by using that, so apologies if there's any shaky cam work. I'll try. I've got the image stabilizer on, and this lens is better than my standard lens for image stability, so hopefully it shouldn't be too bad. So it's going to be a walking vloggy type tour today. Yeah, as I was saying, Bredon Hill is an outlier, and we did actually walk up one of those outlier hills from the Cotswolds along the Cotswold Way, when we came to Camlong Down. In fact, Camlong Down was an extremely, very, very steep climb off the Severn Vale. It suddenly went up at very sharp. That was a outlier there, and then of course we went down the other side and down into the town of Dursley. But yeah, this is another one of those where it's where it had been formed from the Ice Age. I won't bore you with all the geological details, but of course the Cotswolds are made up of limestone rock, and that's what you have here at Bredon Hill. And of course that's what I was saying about Elmley Castle is in the Cotswolds or not. Geographically I would say, because it's so close to Bredon Hill, it would be. But in terms of appearance, there are some cottages which are made of limestone, Cotswold stone, here at Elmley Castle, but some are clearly not. They're more the Tudor variety, and there's also some red brick, which is more familiar and more common in these parts of Worcestershire. So yes, we have a beautiful deer park here, although I can't see any deer as yet. You can tell though that some of the younger trees have got the wooden small fences around them to protect them from the deer chewing the bark away. I've also got a dead tree over here as well. Not sure what type of tree that was, but yeah, that one's certainly gone. Now that's looking back in the direction of the Malverns, but it's a bit misty today, so we certainly can't see any of that, and we're making our way round here and following the path along there. Now it is actually quite a late autumn this year. We say we're just a few days off the end of the month, November, and it looks like as we go into December we'll still see some autumnal colour on the trees, because so far it has been fairly mild, and but it is over the past couple of days has decidedly got colder, and obviously those warmer temperatures, warmer than average temperatures, have kept those leaves on the tree, but I think over the next week or two they will disappear as we go into the second week in December. Now at this point we have to go off to the left, because that's the deer park itself up there. That's probably where the deer actually are, to be fair. But we have to walk around, like circumnavigate the summit and then cross over the top. So we're going to continue the footpath there just to the left of that gate. Now, it's good to see that the Cotswold Voluntary Wardens have been out in action here too. That's great to see. As I said before, I mentioned it a couple of times when I was doing the Cotswold Way, they do a fantastic job, and obviously they've recently replaced that wooden bridge there over the stream, probably done in the past year or so. So that's keeping all the footpaths open across the Cotswold district. Slightly muddier on the footpath here, so just have to watch my chucking, and there's also hoof marks, so it's well used by horses. It's a type of horsey place, Elmley Castle, and the surrounding villages. There's lots of horse stables. Lovely wood here. Beautiful autumnal colours. I have done a couple of videos on the autumn. Specifically, one was where I revisited my wood, in inverted commas, which I visited in the summer. I went back to that in the autumn, although I caught it in the early autumn. And I will be going back there again in the next couple of weeks to do a winter version, and probably will still see a bit of autumnal colour there. There's also one I've done which is mainly photographs and music, called Autumnal Gold, which I did over the other side of the Severn, actually, in the Forest of Dean, and also I did a little bit at Ross-on-Wye. So if you haven't seen that one, might be worth checking out if you like looking at autumnal colour. So we can see the top of the hill now. Now there's the summit. Now obviously, sadly, because it's misty, a bit grey, I don't think we're going to get extensive views like we did on quite a few of the days when we reached summits on the Cotswold Way, but we'll see what we can do when we get to the top. I have a slight dilemma, because this is used as a cow track, It's very, very muddy. Now there is a wooden creep just to the left of it, which would be perfect, but unfortunately that's completely overgrown with bramble. Oh well, dilemmas. So yeah, it's a really quiet walk this. I've only come across one other walker so far. There was a lady walking a dog on the lower slopes. As I'm coming up to the hill, the summit, I'm probably about, not sure, half to 3/4 of the way up at the moment. I'll drop in the height of Bredon Hill as well, round about now, because I can't remember the height. It's certainly not as high as Worcestershire Beacon, of course, or Cleve Hill. It's not of that genre. But yeah, well, I'll drop that in to give you an indication of how high we're climbing this afternoon. Interestingly, this part of Bredon Hill is called Fiddler's Nap. I don't know what the story behind that is. But I've just noticed this path with another bridge. I've just checked my OS map, because the main route seems to go up there climbing higher. But I found this path, which isn't marked on my OS map, although it is marked as a Worcestershire public footpath. And that would indeed take us more in the direction of the castle. So I'm going to go and check out this way. That footpath seems to bring us to a dead end, because it comes to this gate here. But as you can see, it's chained and locked. And I think our castle is the other side of those trees. Anyway, but we're going to go round the other side. There is another continuation around the other side, so we're going to have a look at that. And we have got some views stretching out across the vale there. I think that over there would be the town of Upton-on-Severn with its cupola church. More about that when we do the Severn Way. So we're getting the scale of height now that we've climbed. So we have typical Cotswold limestone grassland over there, but of course that is private property and remains part of the deer park. Okay, I've just swapped my lens over from my wide angle zoom, my vloggy lens, to my medium telephoto, and that there is the site of the castle. Unfortunately, and I didn't realise this when I walked up here, there is a fence in the way. That is private property. That is the castle. So you see my problem. I was hoping that the footpath would take me up further and then drop me back down so I could get a clearer shot of it. I am going to take the footpath further around, see what we can see. There is the remains of the castle up there. I have seen a couple of photographs on geographs, so somebody has been up there. There's also a small pool or lake at the top as well, and that's just hidden in the dip. You can make out the embankment there of the castle. Can you just see that? Sorry, I hope it's not too wobbly. Yeah, so that's the Motte and Bailey, isn't it, of the castle? That's it there, and you can see that extends right round the base. And I think that any remains, the foundations, are just hidden by those trees there. But that is our castle. That is Elmley Castle, or Elmley Castle, but the castle, not the village, which is just 1.5 miles below the scarp here at Bredon Hill. Got some other views across the vale there. Yeah, it is very, very misty when I shot birds going across there. I think that is Overberry Hill. I'll check that and drop the subtitle in, because I think that's where I was earlier on, trying to get round to Elmley Castle the other way, but of course that road, the Tewkesbury Road, is closed. Got roadworks on that at the moment, so I couldn't get across. But yeah, I think that's Overberry Hill. I will drop that in. Now it looks like the hunt is out. You can just see that on the field, on the top of that hill there. All the riders are out hunting. As you probably were, I'm not one that really approves of hunting, but obviously that is, you know, the countryside that we're here in, and it obviously is a traditional in this part of the world, in the Cotswolds. As I say, I don't know what hunt that is, but I will drop that in and find out what's the nearest hunt around here. Got beautiful views across the trees there, they're changing their colour. Now I've just come up a bit further. It's got a bit more height on this perspective of it, the site, and it looks like there was an outer keep, or certainly an inner and outer ditch. There's one, see that tree on the far left of your screen, to the far right of your screen, just to the left of that you should be able to make a flat platform that's encircling the centre bit in the middle of your screen, and then there's another encircled bit. So obviously it had two embankments to perform the earthworks to protect the castle there. Those riders about to set off now. Now looking at that landscape here, you would swear that was the main Cotswold Scarp, and you'd be thinking this is perhaps somewhere around Cleve Hill or Leckhampton Hill, but it isn't. Here we are on the slopes of Bredon, and that is the summit just at the top there. From a very chilly and misty Cotswold Hills at the top, or very nearly at the top of Bredon Hill. Here in Worcestershire, I'm going to make my way back down to Elmley Castle to close the video off there. I feel a bit disappointed for you guys and gals watching because I haven't actually got a close-up of the castle remains, which is the purpose of today's visit. I got as close as I could without committing an act of trespass, but that's the way it works out sometimes. Sometimes you have an aim in mind and it just doesn't quite work out as you planned, but you can't win them all, as they say. But still beautiful views. You can't take the beautiful views away from this place. Really stunning views across the vale there. Well, I hope you enjoyed the little tour around Bredon Hill. I'm just a bit sad and deflated that we couldn't actually get close to the castle itself to see what it physically looked like, because from the photographs that I've seen online there are some stone remains and the foundations are quite clear and distinct, but of course I don't know how long ago those photographs were taken. And obviously the last thing I want to do here on West Country Wanderings is to commit an act of trespass and get arrested or get kicked off YouTube for infringement or something or some such. So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to stay within the law. So that was as close that we could get. However, I will be returning to Elmley Castle, probably Elmley Castle, maybe somewhere else around here, to do Bredon Hill again, around the other side, because there is a monument on the other side of the hill. And I'll probably choose a really clear day so we can get up right to the top of the hill, and then we can see the views from the other sides across further into the Cotswold Hills and across to Broadway. So that would probably happen in the spring. I don't think there's going to be many clear days between now and the end of the year. And in any case, I've got other projects lined up, including heading down to Devon and Cornwall over the next few days as well. What I'll do now is conclude with, I'll just take some photographs around this beautiful little village here in Worcestershire in the Cotswolds, just to close off with a little bit of music. I hope you enjoyed it today. If you did, please consider a like, a subscribe, a share, or indeed a comment, particularly if you know this part of the Cotswolds or know anything about Elmley Castle. I'll be really pleased to hear from you. Take care of yourselves, all the best. Hope to see you again soon. Cheers now. Bye bye.